Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of History Calling. In the year 1916, the old continent was devouring itself. The Great War, once naively believed to be over by Christmas, had devolved into a brutal quagmire. From the English Channel to the Swiss border, a muddy, ravaged scar of trenches and barbed wire bisected Europe. This was the Western Front, a dead land where the most modern machines of war had thrust humanity into a conflict of horrifyingly primal nature. Millions of lives had already vanished into the mud, yet the stalemate held as firm as an invisible fortress wall. Within this crucible, a grand plan was forged. The Allies, desperate to break the shackles of attrition, resolved to deliver a decisive blow. But history rarely follows a straight path. The German army, with fearsome strategic foresight, struck first, turning the fortress of Verdun into a gigantic meat grinder, compelling the French to commit every last resource to its defense. The responsibility for the Great Summer Offensive thus fell heavily upon the shoulders of the British Empire. This attack, known as the Big Push, was to unfold across the tranquil fields of the River Somme. Under the command of General Sir Douglas Haig, a plan of unprecedented scale was devised. Its logic was both brutal and simple, to crush the enemy with the absolute power of industry. For 1 week, 1,400 British guns would unleash an unrelenting storm of steel upon the German positions. Nearly 2 million shells were expected to annihilate everything in their path, pulverizing trenches, tearing apart barbed wire entanglements, and burying alive any who dared to resist. Just before 0 hour, 19 colossal mines, secretly dug deep beneath the earth, would detonate, creating man-made earthquakes to sow a final terrifying chaos. It was a symphony of destruction, a steadfast belief that firepower could sweep away all obstacles, clearing the way for the infantry to advance and occupy a desolate wasteland. But across no man's land, the enemy was not obliterated. The Germans, with meticulous engineering and prudence, had transformed their lines into a multi-layered fortress that was nearly impregnable. Deep underground, in concrete-reinforced dugouts that could reach depths of 10 meters, their veteran soldiers waited patiently for the storm to pass. They were not passive victims. They were professional soldiers, and they knew exactly what was coming. 7:30 a.m., July 1st, 1916. Whistles shrieked along the front. The great artillery barrage shifted its fire deeper into the rear. Tens of thousands of British soldiers, many of them volunteers from the PALS battalions, men who had enlisted together from the same towns, factories, or offices, climbed out of their trenches. Believing the enemy had been swept away, they advanced into no man's land. And then, hell opened its gates. From the shattered earth, German Maxim machine guns rose like resurrected monsters. An invisible scythe of steel began to sweep across the fields. The British soldiers, laden with heavy equipment and advancing in orderly waves, became perfect targets. They fell not one by one, but in entire lines, like wheat before a storm. In the northern sector, the assault became a slaughter on an industrial scale. However, the picture of the Somme was not one of uniform darkness. To the south, where the French artillery with its more effective heavy guns had done its work better, and where the Germans were less prepared, British and French units achieved significant success. The villages of Montauban and Amidst were taken. The French, with their seasoned experience, captured all of their objectives with comparatively low casualties. But these glimmers of success were swallowed by the fog of war. In distant headquarters, the generals were almost completely blind to the reality on the ground. Telephone lines were cut, runners were lost or killed. The plan of attack, built on a rigid timetable, proceeded regardless. The supporting artillery continued its advance by the clock, leaving the pinned-down infantry units behind to be slaughtered. The first day of the Somme ended in a catastrophe of unimaginable proportions. The British Army suffered 57,000 casualties, including nearly 20,000 dead, the bloodiest single day in its entire history. The battle did not stop there. It raged for over 4 more months, turning green fields into a desolate moonscape of mud and death. When winter finally forced a halt, the Allies had advanced a mere 10 miles. The cost was over 1 million casualties on all sides. For many, the Somme remains a symbol of senseless slaughter, of callous generals, and a lost generation. Yet, in the brutal logic of total war, it was an agonizingly expensive lesson. The Somme bled the German army white, forcing it to change its defensive doctrines and ensuring it could never again field the same quality of veteran soldiers. It was a painful, blood-soaked, but perhaps necessary step on the long and arduous road to ultimate victory in 1918. The Somme was more than a battle. It is a wound seared into the consciousness of a nation, a terrible reminder of the price of industrial warfare, where human courage met the soulless indifference of the machine. Thank you so much for watching this episode of History Calling. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps us out, and it makes sure that History Calling continues to thrive. We've got some more incredible episodes lined up, so don't miss out. Thank you once again for watching. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay informed.